Hello and welcome to Pay Entry's presentation of the Affordable Care Act. This is part 2 of a 2-part video series. In this video, we will cover additional information. This will include how you code an employee that has been terminated mid-year and additional information that you need to add if your company is self-insured. As we mentioned in the previous video, this presentation contains interpretations of some of the components of the ACA. Please confirm this information and how it affects your organization with your legal advisor or ACA expert. Let's start with an employee that was terminated mid-year. Paula Brooks has been with the company since 2012. She was terminated on July 31st of 2015. So let's enter her ACA information. First, go to the ACA tab. From the ACA tab, choose ACA Coverage. And now we're going to add her information. We're going to start with entering her start date of January 1st of 2015. And her end date will be her termination date of July 31st of 2015. And click Add. Now we will click on Details to enter her coverage information. Again, your dates will default from the previous screen, so starting with the offer of coverage. Since Paula was employed during this time, she did receive a qualified offer, so I'm going to choose 1A, Qualifying Offer. Next is the employee share. This is the lowest cost of employee-only coverage that was offered to Paula. The cost of this employee-only coverage was $100 per month. Next is the employer relief. Since Paula chose to enroll in the insurance plan that was offered, I'm going to click on the drop-down and choose Employee Enrolled in Coverage Offered. And lastly, this is not a self-insured plan, so I'm going to choose No. And now I'm going to click Save Changes. And now let's see what her 1095-C is looking like for 2015. I'm going to select 2015, and it will enter the data for January through July. And again, note from our previous video that the employee share is not showing because the code for coverage is 1A. But also notice that we have some errors. The errors are indicating that we're missing data for the months of August through December. I'm going to save changes and return to ACA coverage. And now let's enter that information for August through December. I'm going to click August 1st and then the end date of 12/31/2015 and click Add. And now for that time frame, I'm going to click on Details and open up the ACA coverage details. The dates again will default. The offer of coverage for this time frame when the employee is no longer employed is going to be different than when the employee was employed. So for this one, I'm going to pick 1H, No Offer Providing Minimum Essential Coverage. For the employee share, since the employee is terminated, there is no offer of coverage, so I'm going to leave it as 0. And for the employer relief, I'm going to choose 2A. The employee is not employed. The company is still not self-insured, so I'm going to choose No, and then Save Changes. Now we can view what her 1095 is going to look like for the entire year. I'm going to select 2015. And now, as we can see, for January through July, her coverage code was 1A. Since it was 1A, the employee share is not showing. Her relief code is 2C, and she is not self-insured. For August through December, her coverage code is 1H. 1H also has blanks for the employee share, and her relief code for the latter part of the year is 2A. And lastly, we will cover what to do if a company is self-insured. We're now going to go back to our employee Jack Bauer from the first video. In his ACA tab, notice that there are three choices: ACA status, coverage, and enterprise. I'm going to select coverage, and now I'm going to select details. And for his coverage details, I'm going to change his enrolled in self-insured from no to yes, and save changes, and return to ACA coverage, and return to employee. Notice now that there is a new choice under ACA for Jack. It is ACA dependents. That's because if the company is self-insured, they are required to report the dependent information for the employee's dependents that are covered by the insurance plan. Entering the dependent information is a two-step process. First, you must add the employee's dependent information under the Dependents tab. I've gone ahead and entered two dependents for Jack, a child and a spouse. I am now going to go back to the ACA tab and click on ACA Dependents. From here, I'm going to use the start date of January 1st of the reporting year, and using the down arrow, pick one of the dependents and click Add. Once I've added the dependents, I can click on Details and it will display some of the dependent information. Please note that for ACA, you must have either the dependent's Social Security number or their birth date in the system for the 1095-C form. I'm going to save changes, go back to the ACA coverage dependents, and add the spouse. Click Details just to confirm that I have one or the other Social Security or date of birth. Save changes and return back to dependents. Again, to review, you must first add your employee's dependents in the Dependents tab. Once they are here, you can save those changes and then go back to the ACA Dependents, and select the dependents that are covered by that insurance. This concludes PayEntry's presentation of the Affordable Care Act employee coverage. This was Part 2, Additional Information. As a reminder, if you are manually updating your employee's ACA information, the dates for your employee statuses as well as the coverage records must cover the entire year.